Hi everyone, welcome back to the more YouTube channel. It's Chris back with my Rumour Has It video where we're talking about players linked to the football club in the summer transfer window. It has slowed down a little bit in terms of players being linked. There's a couple of names still kicking around out there on some of the various news outlets, websites, journalistic notepads, scribble pads, whatever it is. We try and bring as many of them to you as we can, look at the chats and the stats and just see, what the player's all about really. So we don't do ITK here. We don't make shit up and throw it at the wall and hope it sticks. No, we just talk about the players, look at their qualities and see how we think they could fit into the Newcastle United team. So we're going to get stuck into this one in a minute. It's a defensive target and a bit of an update maybe on some other defensive targets as well. So there is news that apparently we are linked to a young fullback. I think that came from Pete Graves and Sky Sports. So that's obviously doing the rounds in amongst the world of the media. There's obviously something that's come out of the club or leaked out of the club, I think. So we're going to look at this player in particular and talk about two other young players as well in a full-back, wing-back position, which I think is key for us. We really need to fill this, but we'll get stuck into this in a minute. Just before we do, a little reminder, if you're new to the channel, you're just checking us out for the first time, hello, thank you very much for watching. Click subscribe, hang around a bit longer, why don't you? We've got loads of these videos coming up. We'll talk about loads of transfer targets and drill into the stats like we're going to do in a second with Mark Super Duper Computer. We also have a live show every Monday, What's Going On with me and Mark, which is just a bit of fun, a bit of crack. You can join us in the lives, have a good giggle, and also the odd rant and thought of the day from myself as well. That a lot of you seem to enjoy. So thank you very much for that. Smash the button. Come on, you won't regret it. Great content here. So let's get stuck in then. Who am I talking about? I'm talking about this player here. It's a young fullback who plays for Wolves, young Spanish fullback called Hugo Bueno, or as his nickname, Kinder. I fucking love that. What a great nickname that is, Kinder Bueno. If you didn't work that out yourself, if you didn't, I think you really have a little word with yourself, because that one was a bit of an own goal, really. I think even Shola would have scored that one. Anyway, back to the subject here. So, yes, he's a young left-back. He had a breakthrough season last season. I think he played about 23 times? Yeah, 23 times in the appearance chart there for Wolves. He got 1 assist, no goals, but he looks really, really talented. He's rapid. He's got a good left peg on him as well, gets up and down the pitch really well, got quick feet, a nice low centre of gravity, can beat a man. Caught some really fast players as well, very, very fast players, even catching Anthony Gordon before he signed for Newcastle, and a few clips against Everton, sliding in, win the ball, likes of Elise at Palace, and these guys are no slouches, and this boy was able to catch him, so he is rapid. He's got a good set of heels on him, which is something I think we severely lack at the back. I think the Chelsea game again was evident how much we do lack a bit of pace at the back end, when Jackson just kind of sped through the middle of the park. So that is a bit of a concern. I think we could do with some reinforcements with some serious speed at the back, just in case we are going to get set about by pacey attacks this season, which will cause us some trouble. But yeah, so this lad is valued about 9 million quid. He's only been capped once for the Spanish under-18, so he definitely would be one of those young fullbacks maybe that Pete Graves was talking about. And there seems to be 3 of them on the agenda. One seems to be a lot further down the line than the other one. But we'll just finish talking about Hugo Bueno first and just see how he would compare and how he would fit into this Newcastle United team. So you can see their tackles per game compared to Dan Burn. He's well ahead of that. So he's 227 versus Burns 174. Interceptions, he's slightly behind, and blocks, he's slightly behind. Clearances, he's behind. Fouls, he gives away less fouls than Dan Burn. Recovers quicker than Dan Burn. Pass completion is better than Dan Burn. But again, it all goes back to the crossing with Dan Burn. And I love Dan Burn. We love Dan Burn. Every time we do this comparison, everyone thinks we're having a go at him. But he's not a left back. He's doing an unbelievable job in that position, but he's not a left back. A modern day left back gets forward and puts crosses in like Hugo Bueno's doing there, 4.12 a game, and Dan Burn just doesn't do that. But also beasts up the shot creation chances and the goal creation chances as well from a player in that position. The modern day fullback, you think about your Andy Robertsons, your Trent Alexander-Arnolds, your Trippiers. They're the kind of modern day fullbacks. We need that replicated on the left hand side. If we don't want to become a one-dimensional team where everyone just sits on Trippier and stops us playing, that's what's going to happen if we don't have a little bit of variety in the game. So I'm all for signing a player like this. And with him being 20 years old as well, you could have him in and out of the side. He wouldn't expect to come in and be a mainstay player like maybe a Kieran Tierney would have been at 25, 26 years old. These younger players will understand that they have to find their way into this squad. And with Dan Burn being 31, a season kind of when he's in and he's out, would be better for Dan Burn's body and also good for the young lad as well to help progress his game. And then maybe the season after he takes over and plays more games than Burn. So it's really clever management if that's what the club are looking to do. But let's look at his red, amber and greens there. So it is a little bit varied. Bear in mind, he only had his real kind of breakthrough season last season. But, the main things for a defender you can see is tackles there, 66th percentile. His tackling the defensive third, he's right up in the 83s. His dribble has tackled, he's up in the 61 percentile, which is really good. Clearance is 75. Progressive carries up at 92. Fouls 99, so it gives hardly any fouls away at all. And recoveries is really good as well. Progressive passing is a bit low. I saw passing at the final third, so that's something he really needs to work on. His long passes again are a little bit short. His interceptions are a bit short as well. But he's only a young lad, and he's kind of just finding his way in the game. So, he's maybe been a left winger in youth football, and he's been converted back to a left back, which often happens. You get the occasion where you get someone like Gareth Bale who goes the other way, and he goes from being a left winger, left back to a world class left winger. Arguably one of the best in the world, so sometimes it can go the other way. But with Bueno, he's probably been converted back. So I think with good coaching, like a good coach like Eddie Howe on the training pitch and Jason Tyndall and Graham Jones, they could really get this lad to sharpen up those red areas and make them ambers or greens even as well. So I'd be really confident that our coaching team could do really well with this player. So 9 million quid is a bit of a snip, really, especially when we're having to do financial fair play and watch what we're spending and everything else. So let us know what you guys think in the comments below about Bueno, whether you'd be happy to see him come to the club or not. The other players that I'm going to just quickly touch upon. So Livramento is another one that seems to be the big name on the agenda. We bid 30 million quid and been knocked back. Apparently Southampton want 40. If we go to 40, they'll do a deal and we'll get Livramento. Now, people are saying we shouldn't do this. People are saying, I'm not too sure about this. 40 million quid for a guy who's been knackered from a really bad Achilles injury and everything else. But the lad's got some serious potential. When he was fit, he looked really good. He can play, obviously, in the full back position. He can play right back or left back. He can play right wing as well. People have even likened him in terms of the way he plays to Gareth Bale. I think it was Theo Walcott who played with both of them, said that Livramento reminds him a lot of Gareth Bale, just that strength and that run and that pace, that ability to jink in and out and everything else. So Livramento could be a player that potentially could even fill in on the right wing with Trippier in behind him. And then, if we are up against it, he can drop back in because he's used to being a right back as well. And he can give you that defensive cover and almost double up on teams, maybe like some Man City, when you're struggling against a Jack Grealish or somebody like that. Or Phil Foden or somebody like that, they could slip in and give that double protection. So maybe that's why we're really trying to get this lad in through the door. But Southampton are a funny club to deal with in this transfer window. Even though they've been relegated, they seem to want top dollar for their players. I get they want to rebuild the squad and everything, but you might end up pricing these guys out of moves, and then you have an unhappy player and you'll be in a standoff where you maybe have to take a shit offer to just get that moody player out the door. So hopefully that deal can be done, and I think if it does, that'll be the full-back position kind of sorted. The other name that cropped up and keeps cropping up is Lewis Hall. Now, I don't know whether this is just the fans that want this to happen, a little bit like the Paqueta deal, where we want Lewis Hall to sign for Newcastle. His dad's a Newcastle fan, his brother's a Newcastle fan, and we think, oh yeah, he can sign for Newcastle. And it might just not be the case. It might not be the case at all, to be honest with you. It might be a case of Lewis Hall is not for sale. That seems to be what a lot of journalists are saying. Chelsea aren't interested in doing business. A friend of the channel, Jack Talbot, I've spoken to Jack before. I've wrote for previous fanzines with Jack. He's a great guy. He's come out and point blank said that his sources say Chelsea not interested in selling, and you kind of get that because Lewis Hall is a fantastic young footballer. I think he's probably going to be England's number one left back in the next couple of years. Why would they sell to a rival? The only way I could think about it is if the player wants the move, and that seems to be some of the buzz, whether that's leaking through from his family, from his friends, or whatever it may be. It seems to be a bit of a buzz that Lewis Hall would fancy the move. He didn't play against us in the Premier Summer Series there. He wasn't in the squad at all. The Chelsea fans are questioning what was going on with all these links to Newcastle. So that might be one to watch, I think, in the next few weeks. If the player wants the move, if Chelsea don't want him as part of the squad anymore, something could maybe happen here. But that would be a fantastic piece of business. For me personally, I would rather have Lewis Hall than Bueno. As harsh as that may sound, I've just seen something in Lewis Hall where I think this kid is going to be something absolutely massive. I'm not sure Bueno will be that player without sounding too harsh, but Lewis Hall to me just looks every inch a proper quality Premier League left back in the making. And I just think if we were to get him in, he would give us pace, he would give us skill, he would give us creativity, he would give us a wonderful left peg. And on that side with Harvey Barnes, give us so much pace and energy. It would look so much stronger than it has done previously. Or if you put Isak out there as well, for example, if Wilson's playing through the middle, that's just an unbelievable left-hand side. But the Lewis Hall one to me looks like it's going to be a really hard deal to go through. But let us know in the comments below what you guys think. Which one of those three would you be happy with, or just any of them? But I really think we do need these defensive covers through the door, certainly after what I saw against Chelsea. I'll be watching the Brighton game tonight as I'm recording, which will be on in probably less than an hour, late night recording. So I'm doing quite well to stay awake here. So yeah, Let us know which one of those three you would rather go for, but definitely need a fullback cover. Left back, I think is ideal, someone on the left foot and somebody for right-sided centre half, because I think Shaw got done a little bit for pace. His hammy was a bit tight, and I think it's going to be a season where there's going to be lots of pace in the Premier League, and I do worry a little bit about Shaw getting done. So, yeah, let us know what you guys think. We always take the time to try and reply to you. If you smack a comment in there, we always appreciate it. So we always try to reply in kind as well. And as I mentioned at the start, if you haven't already, smash subscribe, come and join us, like the video as well, help the channel get around YouTube. We'll be back with some more Newcastle United banter soon, and we'll catch you later, everybody. See you later. Bye-bye.